We're back. Welcome back to Art Life Radio. It's the second hour. I got a good brother right here with me, man. This guy right here, you know, I met him on the grind, and he just continues to stay on the grind. And I just want to introduce him properly. So, actor, writer, producer, father, community leader, J.D. Williams.
What's up?
My brother.
What's good, Steve? Thank you for having me. I know I was running around, man. I know you had to hit me up a couple times, but you know I was going to come through.
Nah, I got you, man.
You know it.
You know it's always love.
All right.
Indeed, man. How you feeling today, though?
I'm good. I mean, I'm down here in beautiful Atlanta. I'm blessed. I ain't really got nothing to complain about. To be honest with you, I don't know, man. I might be a little moody today, so, you know.
All right, we're going to see what we can do to change that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I know you're an East Coast representative. You're not an Atlanta guy, but
Right.
you know, tell the people who don't know where you're from.
Oh, all day, every day from Brick City, New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey. For those of you who don't know what Brick City is, born and raised, but you know, I did have the opportunity to grow up a lot of places, you know, as a child, but also as an adult, I have had a lot of places to live and also claim as home too. Shout out to Baltimore, you already know. You know, I gotta give some love to Philly. You know, I gotta give some love to LA. You know, but I'm a Jersey kid through and through all day. North Carolina, of course, gotta get a little home, you know.
Right.
Spent some summers there too, so you know.
Indeed. So I mean, like, can you give me in a nutshell what your version of growing up in Jersey was like?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up through it 80s and 90s, you know, so it was just that cultural, you know, explosion of, you know, dealing with, you know, whatever politics, music, and, you know, stuff that we had going on. So, I mean, I want to say, you know, I grew up like the typical 80s kid, you know, and then the 90s teenager, you know, so, you know, we went through the whole, our thing was, you know, the carjackings, you know, the coat robberies, you know, taking your starter jackets and caps, you know, taking your sneakers, you know, stuff like that. But that was, you know, when I was younger. So, and then, you know, of course, as I got older, the next thing was, you know, all the, you know, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls and boys having kids, and you know. So I mean, but that's negative stuff. But growing up, you know, it's positive. You know, the positive stuff is there. You know, you're in the projects. You got your mattress flippings and, you know, your tops games, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, it was just regular growing up. You make the best of it. I got to say, I was a privileged kid, you know, even though my parents weren't together. I got to grow up in a whole lot of different environments, you know. I had a big family, both sides of my family. You know, I was around all of them. So, you know, I had a great upbringing. You know, I think it was blessed anyway, you know. So, like I said, I could be staying in the projects, you know, wherever I was, and then I could go live with my grandmother wherever she was, which was, you know, usually nice, and go back and forth between, you know, an aunt or an uncle here. And it's not like, you know, I had to move around. It was just that my family was just that big, and I was the kind of kid that everybody could put up with, you know. So I got a chance to, you know, do that. So, you know, I got to live, you know, all over. So shout out not just to Brick City, but, you know, I got to give a shout out to East Orange. I gotta give a shout out to Irvington, you know. I gotta give shouts, you know, all of Essex County, you know. So it is what it is. West Orange, Orange, South Orange, you know. So
in that environment, what was it that brought you to performing arts? Because there's so many different things going on. Why performing arts?
Well, all right. I try to. The lineage of it is real quick, you know, being basically growing up as a single mom kid. You know, you move around a lot, and I'm a boy, so. You move around a lot, and, you know, I'm a boy, so I had to figure out how to, you know, fit into whatever community we was going in, stay out of trouble, you know, just get in. So one of the things that, you know, I would always, you know, go to these different schools. And one semester I went to 3 different schools in one semester once, you know. And it was just because, like I said, you know, my mom was young. We was just wilding out, you know. But like I said, we still had a good support system, so it wasn't like, you know, death every day. But going to different schools, I had to figure out, you know, how to fit in real quick. So I would learn who's who in the school as far as, you know, the administration and the kids. And then I would, you know, work my way in. But for every school I went to, I would always end up orating or reading in front of the school. And like I'll be in the school for a week, and then the next week I'll be at an assembly reading in front of everybody. Like
So that's what kind of broke the ice for you.
Well, it starts younger than that as far as like me just doing like performing, but not professionally. But I was always
So
that way. But that taught me how to like work it in, you know. So then moving around to different schools, you know, and then always ended up orating at all these different schools or being the lead in the play and coming out of nowhere. Then I went to Arts High School when I got back to Newark and decided to, you know, stay in Newark for high school. I went to Arts High School. You know, this is high school which Tisha Campbell came from, Savion Glover, Michael B. Jordan, Cat Bologna. You know, it's a bunch of musicians. Yep. Well, Money came out of she came out of Columbia in South Orange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you know, it's like that. Sarah Vaughan came out of North, you know, and then we got that's just like the entertainers you know about because we have so many artists that come out here. I mean, literal like painters, sculptors, you know, famous, you know, a lot of people who do a lot of different types of art. So, yeah, so you know, it's that type of if you tell a kid that they're gonna be doing something when they grow up, they don't know no better than not do it. You know, so like I said, luckily I always had that kind of reinforcement. You know, whether it was directly or indirectly, it was just always like I never was down about something really. You know, so.
Okay.
But yeah, just going to different schools and you know figuring out how to fit in, and then ended up in Arts High School, and then I just kind of, you know, it was a blessing. I just got kind of led into it, you know, and it was just always something I was cultivating because I write, you know, and direct and all that. So, you know.
So was there what role was it that that you played that you said to yourself, okay, I know this is for me. I know that this acting thing is for me. Like what role was that?
Actually, in kindergarten, I played Little Boy Blue. Yo, I'm telling you, like, we did it, and it was crazy because we didn't even really have like costumes on. You know, it's a kindergarten place, so you don't really have costumes on. But I remember what I was wearing and everything, and I don't know how old y'all are, but do y'all remember the old Everlast boxing sets that you used to have? But I'm telling you, like this is real boxing. This is back in the 80s, y'all. So this is when motherfuckers was wearing like cut off shirts at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? It said Everlast, and it was made out of like a cloth.
Waistband.
Yeah, it had the waistband. You had to tie it. And remember, I'm probably about 5 or 6, so you know. But that's what I had on, and like I'm telling you that because it was like the way everything happened. I remember it so clearly. The play was over at the end. I had to do something. I raised my hands up, right? And so everybody claps, right? And I remember and the reason I bring up raising my hands is because my stomach was exposed. And you know, like, I'm a boy, I'm like, man, I gotta get these hands down, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I did it for the teacher, but I wanted to, you know. So anyway, play was over, and all the parents was coming up to the stage to get their kids. Now, we was in a huge auditorium, so, you know, only like 20 parents was coming to the front, but all of these parents started coming to the front, and I went to my mom, and I guess I was small enough for her to be holding me or something, because I do remember kind of being up in her arms. But all the parents, they got their kids, and then they came over to her and asked her, like, how old was I? Was I acting already? You know, because, yeah, and it was like all of this talking, it was like the whole half of the auditorium came over, and I was just, the thing is, at the time, I did realize that I had a better comprehension of what I was doing than the other kids did. You know, so I kind of understood why the parents, but the reaction was still like surprising to me. I was like, I didn't know it was that much of a difference. Right. But then from then I just was like, oh, okay, well, you know, but I was always reading a lot. You know, with a single mom, you probably watching a lot of TV too. So, you know, I kind of had this, like I said, it was a comprehension, it was an understanding of presentation, you know, so.
Yeah, an awareness, a natural awareness.
So from there, you know, I always kind of had a thing where I was like, yeah, I could probably be an actor, but it was either that or a lawyer, because obviously I like to talk. So it was either that or a lawyer or a geneticist if I could have learned the math. If I could do math well enough, I would have been some type of scientist. But
interesting. Yeah. Okay. Was it ever anything else besides acting? Like, I know a lot of us, we coming up in urban environments, we have, you know, there's a few other aspirations, but was it always acting or was there anything else?
I mean, like I said, it wasn't even acting when I started it. It was just kind of a continuation from high school for me. Okay. I mean, and not just like not doing anything. It's like people still acted like, grown-up people still acted like high school people, you know, when I got out of high school. And I went to college for a little while, but I was like, oh, well, people just act like this no matter what age they are.
Okay.
So I kind of, knew how to continue, to work and to network. And I was growing up in that because I was like 18 and 19. I didn't have a manager or, anything like that. I've always had an agent. And as a matter of fact, I've always had my entire agency behind my back. Shout out to Don Buckwald and Associates, DBA, what's up? Yeah, that was how it was. It was like I kind of fell into it, and then even when I first started, because I almost became a day trader. Right before 9/11, I almost became a day trader.
Wow.
And yeah, and a couple of other small things I tried. I had little side things that I was doing as a kid, like bartending and stuff like that. But I was just gonna go where I always wanted to be my own boss.
So you had a lot going on, and you were always doing this as well. What got you your first agent? What was it that got you?
My teacher, actually. I was in arts high school, freshman year. A teacher, she pulled my mom to the side and she was like, your son, I think he had something, but I'm gonna introduce him to the right people at the right time. And this is freshman year, so senior year, everything went by, went through school and everything, and then senior year came around, and like a month before I graduated, so it was like, let me see, I would say, it was in March or April, she sent me, probably March, she called me down to the office in school, to the principal's office. We called this agency, they told me to come in, that was a Monday, they told me to come in on a Tuesday. I went in on a Tuesday, had this crazy audition, it was dope, and then they called me with my first audition on Wednesday. And the thing is, they started sending me out like a lot, and I learned from a lot of other people that were already auditioning about, the whole quantity versus quality thing. I was doing a whole lot of commercials. My first year I did probably like, 15, 20 commercials, like national commercials, like I'm talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken, Double Mint, and, all of these commercials for all of these different places, Pepsi, yeah, McDonald's, like it was crazy, like, and then in between I was getting like the little guest spots with like New York Undercover or Law and Orders and stuff like that. But yeah, my teacher, she took me downstairs, she just called these people, like she told me freshman year, they didn't say nothing else about it until a month before I graduated, and then introduced me to the people. They took me on, sent me out on auditions like crazy. I started booking stuff right away. But like I said, I think that was because I was already kind of home to sell things. In commercials, you just selling people things. So I ain't have a problem trying to convince people to buy something. So commercial acting for me was like the easiest thing in the world, to be nice and to be, inviting and try to get somebody to buy something. That was like the most straightforward acting. So getting a commercial was the easiest thing. Just go in, try to be cute, try to be, upbeat and smile,
So I'm curious, was this agency in Jersey or was it in New York?
Nah, it's a New York agency. It was actually, the first one I had was called J. Michael Bloom. And they were in New York, Chicago, and LA. They were like a really big agency, maybe in the top 5 in the nation at the time. Okay. And then they collapsed because of some shady stuff. I mean, they was around for a long, long time. And they might still be around right now, but I know like millions and millions of dollars went missing. So that's how big it was. That's what I'm saying, but it's still might be around. But that's not here nor there, because when I turned 22, a lot of the agents that left from that place, they took me and invited me to their agencies. And so right now the agency that I'm with is definitely like, I think it's the top 3. I've been with them since I was like 22.
Okay.
So that's going on 20 years, you know what I'm saying? That's going on 20 years, and I love them, you know what I'm saying? They been looking me out, they keep working. I tell actors all the time, like, the thing about working and having an agent, man, just make sure they send you out, man. If you can get one audition a week, I mean, I thought 2-3 auditions a week was normal when I first started, you know what I'm saying? So, but if you can get an agent that gives you at least one audition a week, I mean, maybe even one every 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? You getting seen, and it's helping you out. You can't have no agent just like sending you out like once a month, or something like that. You can't have that. You have to have somebody send you out. But I'm saying that to say that my agents, both agencies, but it's the one I'm with now, Buckwald, they send me. I get seen on everything. So at least if I don't get it, I can't say, oh, I didn't have an opportunity. So right. That's the main thing. What's up with this mic, bro?
There's a little screw.
Yeah, you could adjust it to yourself.
Yeah. So
it just need to be tightened up.
So you can just make it easy. that works for you.
Cool. I mean, it's falling forward. That's all. All right.
So, at what point did Kenny Wengler happen? Like, at what stage of the game did this Oswald come about?
Oh, that was pretty early. Let me see. I did my first commercial, my first real commercial, national commercial. I did it on my birthday.
Okay.
So I took that as a sign, like, yo, I might as well just keep doing this. And that was 96 or something like that. So anyway, a year and a half went by before Oz came around. But like I said, it was about the opportunity of getting seen. Because remember back then, like, let's see, New York Undercover was out, Law and Order was, crazy popping, like it is always. But you would see all of the actors, all of the New York actors, young, old, everybody. We would always be auditioning for the same things over and over again. Like I said, Law and Order, Undercover. And then we had all these other shows that was out too, cop procedurals and stuff like that. But we were all the auditioners for so the casting agent, they'd see you, they'd be like, damn, you was good for this, but I can't put you in this one. But before I get out of here, or one day I'm gonna put you in something. So, like I said, when I got in, God bless me, I got in and made a quick impression. And one of the ways too, I think I made an impression because I was 18, but I didn't look 18. But even when my agency would send me out to play older stuff, even though I didn't look the age, they'd be like, man, you could play it, but you just don't look it. Yeah. Amen. Yeah, but I mean, like, even if I was going something to play like a football player, or to play like a army, sergeant or something like that, my persona could play it, but I just was looking too young to actually get the role. So I used to kind of frustrate the first couple of when I first started. I used to frustrate casting agents because they'd be like, man, you can play certain roles, but you just look so young. I'm gonna find something for you. So, and then it took a while for me to even start looking older, really. This is before I was even growing a beard and mustache and stuff like that. So, but going into the, like you said, the role of Kenny Wengler from Oz was written for a younger guy, who I guess had a certain energy. Mm-hmm. And I went in for the audition, and it's like I've told the story before, but it is still one of my favorite acting stories as far as my career goes. It's like it was a mini audition, and I actually threw myself. I'm being filmed, and I actually threw myself off camera while I was doing the audition. Now nowadays, if I was doing an audition, I wouldn't have the balls to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a punk now when it comes out. I'm like, damn, I was raw, boy. I was a beast, because in the scene I'm acting against somebody and the person grabs me. So I wasn't really focused at the time. I mean, I knew about being filmed and taped and everything. It's just at the time I was just I went into the character. Right. And I even remember the casting director and her assistant, shout out to Alexa Fogel, looking at each other. I could see them look at each other from the corner of my eye when I slammed into the wall. But I kept going, whatever. And she was like, cool. And so then, like, I don't know, a couple days later, maybe a week later or whatever, I get the call to come back for the callback, right? Right. So I go in for the callback, but it's not in the casting director's office. It's actually, and it's like I didn't know it at the time, but it was the production offices of the actual Oz set. Okay. So anyway, I go in, and it's just like a room, maybe a little smaller than this. And I had the producers, the director, and the writer, Tom Fontana, and her in the room. So I'm guessing that they having people, come up at a certain time and come in and meet everybody in person and read stuff in person, and then they decide how it goes like that. So I'm like, okay, so they probably have me here right now, and they have somebody else come in a half hour, and another person in a half hour. So anyway, I go up there and I do my. I remember we did more talking. I might have done the scene again. I think I did, but I remember more conversation than actually doing the rehearsal. Right. And so I leave, and then like I would say probably less than 10 minutes later, my beeper goes off. So my beeper goes off, and I call the agency, and they say, yeah, you got the part. And I was like, man, they made that decision quick, so they just wanted to see me in person, right. But yeah, that's how I got the part for on Oz. And like I said, it was a real audition, and it was a real process, because Oz is one of those shows where like it was more like doing a play than any other show I've ever done.
You want to ask something real quick?
Yeah. How
was it playing on Oz? Because that was one of my favorite shows before.
Oh, it was, like I said, it was fun. It was more like doing a play, because the camaraderie and the process that goes into making something like that, because you and the other actors have to interact. So, no pun intended, deeply. Pause. But
yeah.
y'all have to interact like that, and and y'all really get a chance to break each other down and discuss the characters, and and plus with all that tension of how the characters are racial and everything. If I'm talking to a white dude, he gotta call me all these names, and I gotta call him all these names. We gotta do this scene, in between him and I gotta find a way to deflate, or beforehand me and him gotta talk about this, that, and the third, because we might want to push it even farther. Like on Oz, we used to get so comfortable with each other. We used to go hard on it. Like, I mean, you have scenes where you got dudes putting poop in each other's face. You know what I'm saying? So, it was like, it was a lot of places that we went on that show that was like I said, in theater, you work something, you work it, and you work it, and you push it, so you can get the most out of it. So the people that's watching it in real life could be like, oh, that felt real, that felt like all the way, so that's how Oz was. We used to go in on that show.
So I felt like Oz was a special thing for you, obviously, for many reasons, but I mean, I know how impactful it can be when somebody from around the way makes it, right? And that was you for a lot of the people around you, right?
Okay.
Because when you got to Oz, I mean, that's HBO.
True.
You know what I mean? That's like, okay, he's really doing this thing. So I want to know, like, how surreal was it for you? And was there a real life Kenny? I'm sure there were a few, but can you think of any real life Kenny Wanglers? As you were playing that role, you actually know kids that were that kid?
I mean, well, all right. Well, to answer the first part of what you was saying, which I'm trying to remember exactly what the first part was.
I said, how, like, was it a surreal film?
Oh yeah, kind of in a certain way, but. I mean, I was just happy. I was happy. I was proud. I was glad to be there. But like I said, I grew up watching television, So even HBO, like y'all remember Gary Shandling's show, Dream On. These is like, I'm like, HBO, hell yeah, that's the thing. I still remember the theme song when HBO used to come on. Remember yeah, come on, man.
They still do that with the boxing.
Yo, see,
With the boxing.
yeah, right, yeah, on the low, yeah. So yeah, but yeah, so being on HBO, I was just like I said, I looked at it like in a school way. It's like being in a good class. You know what I'm saying? Like, now do what you got to do with it, to improve on it. So that's how I looked at it. So I didn't get stuck, and like, oh well, now I'm here. Yeah, I need to be on every channel now, So I just took it like that. Like, all right, I dropped out of college, so I looked at Oz and HBO as my college. So that was more keeping me grounded in that sense. So it would be surreal to watch yourself sometimes. But like I said, I was already doing so much plays.
Right.
But as far as knowing any actual people like Wangler, I mean, I'm gonna say yeah. I mean, of course I knew a lot of hothead, old dog kind of, wild boys. But Oz was a total soap opera. You know what I'm saying? Oz was insane. It wasn't nothing like, I think it might have had the vague idea in the beginning, because sometimes they would bring out statistics when dude was doing the little monologues in the middle, and it would have some philosophy in it, but it wasn't a message or a real statement on the penitentiary system. You know what I'm saying? It was just more, like I said, it was really a soap opera. So
okay, so that's interesting, because that leads me to another question I had, which was like, was there any connectivity between the opportunity you had on Oz and actually working within prisons? Like, were there any speaking opportunities at prisons? Like,
I mean,
any bridges?
not for me, not while I was doing that. Remember, I was also like mad young, so if I did go talk to, the youth, it was, on my own accord. You know what I'm saying? I would go to schools. Now I'll drop by the youth house in North, probably like, I try to do it like once a year or something like that, but yeah, nah, back then, like I said, I mean, I don't think, and I think it behooved the adults in the situation to realize, before I realized, that it wasn't that serious.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like you can, like I said, you would have to really pull out like what message you specifically trying to address if you're talking about Oz, like I said, because it was just dramatic. You know what I'm saying? It was just real. It was a total melodrama, man. Yeah, but you know, and I'm pretty sure it did bring light to, you know, certain abuses and certain, you know, certain things like with COs being messed up and dudes getting turned out or raped or whatever. But you know, I don't think it was really trying to tackle those issues.
Did you do anything outside of the norm to prepare for the role?
For that, nah, not really. I mean, the set was weird enough. You know, the set was wild. You know what I'm saying? Cause like literally, like for real, like we all really just stuck there all day. You know, like if you're on a different set that's not designed like a prison, you know, you could go to your trailer, right? But there, the trailer was that you got a dressing room, but you probably just go to one of the little cells and just lay on one of those beds instead of walking all the way to your dressing room. So, you know, we would end up chilling there with each other in the common room for real all day long. And then what you doing when you sitting there doing that? Y'all either playing cards, doing push-ups, you know, talking about books, kicking the head a little bit, whatever. And then think about it like this. That's just you and whoever you talking to, your group. Now you got the dudes that's playing the Aryans over there, who was all Cuban, sitting over there playing whatever they playing. You got all the dudes that's playing the homosexuals, you know, the flamboyant ones, the girls and the punks, they sitting all over there. You got, you know, every group is like, so it was like, you would be in kind of a mindset of being, you know, not trapped, but just, you know, together, like up under people all the time. Right. You know, like I said, you could go to your dressing room, but by the time you walk to your dressing room, you walking past different cell blocks. You walking through the either the commissary or you walking through the cafeteria. So it was more concentrated, you know, and that so it wasn't. I don't think it was a thing that we was hard to get out of. It's like when you're an actor, you know, you playing, right? So if you always got the toy in front of you and you got the whole play set, you going, you know, your imagination gonna keep going. So that's what it was. It was like we was on the play set and we was the toys and we was just there all the time. Gotcha. So, you know, we would always go off of that and play with that. Like, and me being that young, like sometimes if I knew certain guest stars was there that day, I would go find them early and talk to them and see what they was doing and what their process was. And then the OGs that was already there, like sometimes when I knew they had like something to do or a serious scene or even whenever, I would just go sit in their room and watch them get, you know, dressed and get prepared for whatever scene we was doing, or I would ask them about how they was interpreting certain scenes or how I could be interpreting certain scenes, you know. So like I said, the process on that show was really, it was really theatrical on that show, and I enjoyed it. We all enjoyed it, man. It was just fun. We got to just work, man. It was crazy, man. Like, yo, it's this one scene where you know, Adewale, I can never pronounce Adewale's last name, but he plays Killer Croc in Suicide Squad and Jason Bourne. He was the guy, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. And in Thor: The Dark World. And he be in a lot of stuff. That's my homie, Adewale, right? Right. You know, he played at a BC. Right. Right. So there's a scene where like the doctor is giving us Gloria Velez, you know, we're in a line, she's giving us pills. Like, I forget what the pills do. I don't know if it was like supposed to be tranquilizers or whatever it is, but anyway, she in the line, simple scene to shoot, you know, like shoot it. And he gets to the front of the line and he drops his pants and he starts flapping his joint in front of us. It wasn't written. And you know, all she could do, she just dropped her head. And they just yelled cut. And everybody, we died. We was like, yo, like, but he was, you know, like I said, but see, in theater, especially when you're doing, you know, improv or is living like that, you can do that. And he took that character. I mean, he was like, look, this character's a savage. Now, I got this beautiful doctor in front of me giving me pills. What would Adebisi do right now? And he just did it, bro. And like he would do stuff like that all the time. And we all would. Everybody would get off something, you know, whether it was like sometimes you would see us throwing food around or smacking each other with stuff that we shouldn't be doing every now and then. I mean, it was controlled, but it was always within character. But yeah, that set was dope, man. Yeah, that's
he kept that beanie on his head.
The stubble,
he kept that beanie on his head.
Stubble on your hair. Like if you cut your hair low, when you go bald, right? When you cut your hair real low and it grows back just a little bit, the stubble is like sandpaper. So you got the the cloth
Kind of sticks.
holding onto your head. Anybody who got short hair will know, is up on that. That's how Kevin Garnett keep his hoodie to the side like that, because the stubble on his head keeps it halfway turned.
So 4 seasons of that.
Right.
Kenny Wengler goes out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts after that wrap for you? Like, were you immediately ready for the next thing, or did you just want to fall back for a little bit?
No, I was ready. I was definitely ready. It was 4 years in there. It was like, and like I said, like, it wasn't like it was like a super big surprise for me. As a writer and, doing this type of shows and seeing how, knowing how Oz was, you kind of got to keep it real with yourself when you kind of see stuff coming, and you got to be, got to get prepared. But it wasn't even about that for me. Like, I'm not like this most purest actor or anything like that, but I do have my, my process and my code and things like that I always work on and I adhere to. And one of the things about it is, and it's because I learned this through theater, like the best thing, any theatrical actor will tell you, the best thing to do in theater on a stage is to die. It's like the most impactful acting scenes you can do in front of people that shows, it's nothing better to do on a stage than to have a death scene, right. And so, like I said, if I transpose that theatrical attitude onto Oz, every death scene on Oz was a big deal. It wasn't like, somebody just got winged and then you was like, oh, I ain't care, or it wasn't like planned and plotted out, or it ain't have something to do with the story and going into this long process of revenge, or it wasn't all extra gory and exciting. It was a big deal, to the way that the characters died. It had to be all creative. It was like Saw or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, homie was grinding up the glass and putting it in homie's marinara sauce, and like stuff like that. Like, or my favorite one, which is the craziest death on the whole show to me. I mean, I didn't see like the last 3 seasons, but I promise you, they could have did nothing crazier than this. When my man Beecher sharpened up his nails and got the CEO in the basement and sliced him up with his fingernails, bro. Oh man, that was the best, bro. It was like, we got Wolverine on the show before X-Men even came out.
Right.
But yeah, like so to do a death scene, to do it in the premiere episode of the 4th season, I looked at it. I mean, I always look at my death scenes in a certain light, in a good light, pretty much. Like I said, that's the theatrical acting in me, because I'm like, yes, people gonna care. You gotta care. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, in The Wire, when Mike B. Jordan had to do his death scene,
that was hard.
It was hard for everybody and it hurt, but he cried, for real afterwards. But he cried because also, the emotion of the scene itself. But then also, he was really young and he was like, he kind of felt like he wasn't gonna work again. And all of us were consoling him, like, yo, bro, like, don't worry about it. You fresh, you coming in, the show's gonna be dope, people gonna love you, da-da-da. But my particular advice to him, at that time was, I told him first off, I was like, he came from Arts High School. So I'm telling him, like, first off, bro, like, people gonna love you. This is a dope thing because now you're gone. People are going to be looking for you. Yeah. They're gonna say, who was that kid that got killed? What was his name? Michael B. Jordan. We're gonna look for him in everything we do because we love him. I was like, bro, people gonna love you after this.
Look at him
so
now.
Just keep doing your thing, because now people gonna look for you and they're gonna look for your name, because everybody who dies on this show, somebody gonna go and find out who that person's name is.
Right.
So once they do that, bro, you're gonna be good and trust us. This is gonna be great for you. And it went on, and like little bro, he handled it, But like I said, he didn't understand, how the benefits that it was gonna give to him. But yeah, like I said, I'm always looking for that right there. Like, let me get the ham. Right. Let me go ahead. Let me get it. Let me go ahead. Like, I wanna act with Asian actors all the time. Cause let's ham it up. Let's chew that scenery. Let's go hard. So I love getting with actors that really, get into it and break it down and understand their characters. I love that.
Now, that I find some commonality between Bricks and Bodie. So we enter
Right.
Preston, Bodie brothers, right?
Right.
They both enter these storylines at the age 16.
Around,
Yeah, around that age.
Yeah.
And I find like that's like a telling thing about our hood stories, because we found our boys and girls in the mix so young that it's like, all right, you started to represent something, maybe not in your mind because it's you, but you started to represent like that young black boy that in the crew. You know what I mean? That's like, he's that whatever. He don't really care. He's with it.
Yeah.
But he's young. He's a young kid. So did you pull anything, not specifically about Kenny's character as a person, but just as the experience of playing that type of a character? Like, did you pull anything from that, or did you just completely reinvent Bodie?
Yeah, Bodie and Kenny is two different people. Like, Bodie would whoop Kenny's ass, like, on the street. Like, Kenny was not, he wasn't as mature. He wasn't as thoughtful. He wasn't as, he wasn't like that. He was more of a follower. He was a whole different person. That's the thing, because sometimes people say, oh, you might be getting pigeonholed or, typecast, whatever the case is. But like I said, it goes back for me for the theater thing. Sometimes you just playing different things in different degrees. Degrees matter to me. You might seem like, oh, all these dudes is street guys. Okay, maybe they all did come from an urban setting, but this one might be smarter than this one. This one might not have a sense of humor. This one might, so there's different degrees that are being played up. And of course, as you watch the characters, you start to, hopefully the actor you're watching portraying that can express that to you. And you be like, oh yeah, well, if I'm watching Kenny and I'm watching this dude, they do seem like different. I will hope that people will be able to see the difference in those two, so with the two of them, as it pertains to the two of them, see, like I said, like with Bricks, with Kenny being a follower and being kind of totally out of control of his circumstance, like he went into this prison, he had to do this to survive, and he's just like going with it. And he, like I said, he's not a leader really, and he's not very, he wasn't very forethought. It's just like, all right, I gotta react. So, and that's a lot of young dudes. That's what I took from him. I put into him is that he doesn't have any problem reacting, because everything that he has to do in there, he has to do. Right. It's like when you scared to fight, and then once that first hit happened, now you ain't scared no more, because you're like, oh, you done hit me now. Right. So that's his thing. It's his whole thing is like completely reactionary. You know what I'm saying? He is who he is because that's who he has to be. Yeah. With Bodie, it's like Bodie is trying to be something, in his mind. Whether it's whether it's to get into a better situation or whatever it is, because I don't think he wants to be like the leader of the gang. I never thought in my mind. I don't think he thinks that far ahead. The thing is, he just wants to be living better. That's it. I just want to be living better. And then when I get to a place where I am better, then I can try to make some better decisions. But right now, these are the decisions I got. So, I take this line. I was just hitting off from this video game I was playing. I love the line. He said, in the absence of any good ideas, he said, I know it was a bad idea, but in the absence of any good ones, I decided to go with it. And that's how most men, we think about stuff when we there. We like, yo, this is the only option I got, so gotta go with it, But that's the difference for me between the two of them. And the reason that I said that Bodie is more tough is, like I said, because Bodie, he's more focused, and he means everything that he does. Everything he does, he means it. He thinks about it. But Bricks or Kenny Wangler, he's like I said, he was way more immature. He didn't get a chance to really do anything with his life. You know what I'm saying? So right. That was with that.
I also found it interesting that he was like a 20-year bid, coming in at 16 and having 20, and that's just kind of what made me cater some of those questions.
Do you remember what he did?
I think he killed.
But why?
I forget. What was it?
I tried to take a coat.
Hit it again.
He tried to take a coat. I was robbing the dude for his coat,
Mm.
and the dude didn't want to give up his coat, and my character shot him, ran
Mm.
off. And what was funny is that this is like when Oz came out, like robbing coats was probably like, I don't know, 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of funny because when we were shooting it, I was like, hey, I'm about to go get 20 years for robbing a coat. We stopped stealing coats about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, but like it ends up being a timeless kind of thing because you can always go back to that. You know, you can always drop back to that. And I want to say it was like a polo windbreaker. So at least I think they kind of got that correct. It was either a polo or Columbia.
Yeah.
Remember Columbia?
Yeah.
It was like one of those.
So you was robbing a low life.
Yeah. Well, you know, back then, you know, you going to take whatever they got. You know, if they rocking the polo, they rocking the starter, they rocking the Columbia. You know, if you ain't got it, you gonna get it.
Facts.
So,
All right, so I mean, how were you fine tuning your thing? Now this is your second HBO show. Was there anything that you were even cognizant of? You know what, I'm on my way up in this thing, and I want to do this. Were you thinking in that way, or were you just day to day? Let me keep going.
No. I mean, I always kind of check myself at certain points in time so I can kind of stitch this me to that me.
Right.
You know, so, and then the way to do that and keep yourself, you know, kind of grounded and keep yourself in a, you know, just in perspective. What I did tell myself that was similar to what you said was that, okay, I got 2 television series under my belt.
Right.
So you're an actor.
Right.
Officially an actor.
Officially,
Nobody can
right.
take that from you. So
Right.
that's your job. So you don't gotta worry about trying to build to be an actor. Just be an actor. Try to get, you know, the best jobs you can, great roles. Make sure, you know, you do right by yourself and your family, stay healthy. But you don't gotta worry about being an actor anymore. You are an actor. So that was what I got from that. So then once I got that, and then a couple of other television series under my belt, you know, when it comes to like The Black Box or Saints and Sinners or The Kill Point, you know, and then like you start getting, you know, that resume or, you know, certain resume, and you just like, I was about to name another show, but I'm like, it shows that I've done it. I forgot that I was even. Yeah, because then you move. But then you tell yourself, you look back, you say, yeah, I've been on like 4 or 5, you know, television series. Or you say, I've done this many movies or whatever.
Right.
That means that's what you do, right?
Right.
Now, people who continue to chase it, you know, it usually falls away from them. You know, it falls away from you because you're probably putting something on yourself that you don't deserve, you know, that you're not ready for. So yeah, so from getting a second series, especially on HBO, with the people I was working under, because I always watch who I'm working with. Because I always tell the person, I'm like, if I'm in the room shaking your head, if I'm working with you, I just made a step forward. I'll let that person know that all the time, in my eyes.
Sure.
You know, so, you know, and yeah, so it was that kind of that's all I took from it. I said, you're an actor, don't worry about it, just keep working, look for the best work, do your job, and you know, just don't take it for granted. That's it.
So something that I noticed is that as you've grown and we've seen your characters
Mr.
grow,
Cruz.
like at Jabari,
Right.
Now Jabari is what you would think if you were to say, all right, we saw Bricks, we saw, you know, I mean, not just, you've played so many different characters,
Right.
but just the ones that we've talked about today. And then to jump to Jabari, somebody who's actively trying to get out of the streets,
Right.
right? And him and Rex go through the whole thing, and he's at this point where now Rex is trying to, you know, they're going through what they're going through,
Right.
right? Like, unpack Jabari a little bit for me.
Okay. Well, just for those who don't know, we talking about Saints and Sinners. Sunday nights at 9 o'clock on Bounce TV. The premiere was just this Sunday, so if you check it out this week, you'll catch the first episode sometime this week. I'm pretty sure that there's a Bounce TV app and place you can go look for it. So look for Saints and Sinners. Myself, Vanessa Bell Calloway, Christian Keys, Clifton Powell, Keith Robinson, Jasmine Burke, Dawn Half-Kinney, Demetria Kinney.
Great cast.
Yeah,
Great
so so like come check it out. I mean that's just, it's more people than that on it. So if you get a chance, come check it out.
Yeah,
I guess, you know, you would describe it as kind of like I don't know, empire in a church, or but well, I would say that because we have the musical aspect to it. You know, we have a Kiki Wyatt, we had Kelly Price the first year. You know, what's the dude's name? Sir the Prophet? Sir, he's a gospel singer, a very famous gospel singer. I know it's Sir. I want to say it's Sir the Prophet. My bad if I get it wrong, my brother. But we have a lot of gospel singers come through and do stuff. So anyway, if you get a chance, come watch the show. It's great. It's a crazy soap opera with all types of insane drama going on and everything. But
this is in season 3, Bounce TV.
That's right. My character on there is he was a I don't even know how to begin to describe him because I can say he's kind of an enforcer. He begins as an enforcer, but he's also he's basically a lieutenant / enforcer when it first starts. But the thing is that he wants to clean up. You know, he wants to be more focused. You know, he feels that there's a smarter way to do whatever it is that they're doing. And Clifton Powell's character Rex, who's his superior. This is what we were talking about earlier in the story. He doesn't want that. You know, he wants to keep doing things the way he wants to do it. He doesn't want to come into the into the now.
And most importantly, he's successfully broken away.
Yeah, and do things better. So, do a whole bunch of things. My character, who's not only this I don't want to even call him a gangster, but just this, this guy, this criminal or whatever, this subordinate to Rex. He's also a family man. Right. So that's a very strong characteristic of this character, is that he's a strong family man. Kenny Wangler and Oz, he had a baby, but he didn't get a chance to see it. He obviously couldn't have been a good father. And The Wire, Bodie didn't get a chance to have kids. You've seen him date some girls, but he didn't have any kids. And so this one is a character, where he has a daughter, a wife, a family life, and that's a big motivation in him wanting to, do better, to be more safe for his daughter. There's even a thing where he says he wants his daughter to see him on billboards for good things and not for, wanted posters and things like that. So this guy, is about breaking away. And I would pretty much liken him to Stringer Bell. Okay. But not in a dishonorable sense. How Stringer Bell, he didn't move with his squad, Right. My character is trying to set up a situation where he can be better, and he's not really betraying anybody or any codes along the way. Not really, I guess it depends on your perspective,
Got you. Okay. And before we go, we're almost to the hour, but I ran across a couple of your tweets, and I know you're a really vocal dude.
Okay, right, yeah.
So I'm not even gonna get into all of them, but I just.
That's okay. I'm with it, man. I stand behind what I say. If you want to check me out on Twitter, everybody is JD Williams ENT at twitter.com. If you hear, you already know my Instagram. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I put them in an order, but I started out with this one because me and you put me on Fortnite.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
We were playing that,
right.
And you said, "Can we get a Killmonger skin?"
Oh, word. Oh yeah.
I thought that was a dope question. Absolutely great in theory. What do you think about Black Panther? And if you were a Marvel character, who would you be?
Oh man, and I love obviously y'all can see I'm in the childish things. So yeah, I know all about that. My sister would say I'm a whole kid. She'd be like, "You over here looking like a whole kid." So that's my baby sister. But yeah, I thought Black Panther, like I said, I mean, I like to take things. I do take things at face value, but and you can go ahead and you can break it down. Everybody can have a perspective on everything. You can analyze and overanalyze, underanalyze, whatever you want to do, but within the process of doing that, you can always just take the message that you need to get from what it is, So without being like, oh, well, it's black people celebrating a fake African nation that we ain't even from, and people wearing, all of the craziness that don't matter, when obviously the same thing with Obama. It doesn't matter at the end of the day what he did as the president. He did the same thing every other president do, but the symbolism of him means something, to a lot of people. So the symbolism of what Black Panther is, like I said, without, even getting into what was right, what was wrong about it or whatever. The symbolism of it is excellent. It's great. I loved it. I thought, like I said, like the way that it was structured, of course the way it was acted, but like I said, if I'm getting into what it meant, the way that it was structured and the macro of what the scenes meant.
Absolutely.
Can always be, you can take the positive message out of those. Like my favorite scene in the movie is when Denai and Lupita are having their argument after Killmonger wins over should she stay or should she go.
Right.
And I love the meaning of that scene of because to me that scene represents, you know, women, but especially black women, and how you have to know what's good for you and what is honorable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then y'all gotta come to and both of them were right. You know what I'm saying? In their sense. But then you gotta really put that on the thing of like, is the woman moving or the person moving for their own selfish reason, or are they just doing it because they were programmed to do it? You know, why are you doing what you do? And I just thought that conversation between those two women was so powerful, because you could put so many things on top of it. Like, how should we treat black men? All right, you take care of them until they get their stuff right. And this one is like, nah, I'm going to get right and then I'll come back and help. You know what I'm saying? Or we'll figure it out later. Right. But so you could apply that to any argument. And I just thought that and like I said, a lot of the scenes had that type of a meta overlay on it that you can apply to so many things. Like everybody knows, it's like, all right, Killmonger came back. Everybody knows that the original title of the movie is Black Panther versus Black American Panther. That's the full title of the movie, right? And so everybody's like, all right, well, Killmonger, he doing what he doing for his reasons, but you know, do you not like it? Do you understand it or whatever? Really and then people is like, yo, he actually won. He won. He came back, did everything by the rules, and people was just like, nah, we just don't want you here. We don't want to do that. So, like I said, it's like it is a lot to unpack in there. I thought the movie was great. Like I said, I put it, especially as far as the metaphors go for Black American people. I would put it on par with Get Out, because it has things that you can, like I said, just pull to the side and say, yeah, let me put that in this context, and it applies. You know, it applies. So I thought it was, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a well-made movie. I'm very glad it wasn't it wasn't an embarrassment, because I went in there like, yeah, I'm excited for it, but I just don't want it to have that one thing where it's like the meme is like, oh, when Black Panther did that corny stereotype thing, and when it did, I'm so glad they came out of it without that one embarrassing thing where it's just like, why they got him sitting there at a Kentucky Fried Chicken, you know, or whatever, you know, like, yeah, well, I'm so glad they didn't do anything embarrassing. So that's a big bonus for me. Mm-hmm. But I thought the movie was well done. My boy Mike B, you murdered it. Killed it. Chad murdered it. Peter, everybody came off. I think they came off, and it was beautiful. It was beautifully done, you know. It was beautifully done. But yeah, I just think that everybody can get something from it if we just take it as a metaphor and not literally, right. You know. So.
Okay, so there was another tweet.
All right.
Breakfast Club, Fox News of Hip Hop, World Star, CNN of Hip Hop, Vlad TV, MSNBC, Bossa Local News, MTO, TMZ, 97, C-SPAN, and Univision. I personally found this to be hilarious.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
I was dying when I saw that. Just why'd you choose that lineup?
Well, because like I said, like what solidified it for me was like lately because I'm not home, so I'm not catching like bits and pieces of the Breakfast Club like I normally would if I was up in the tri-state area. But you know, when I do check out something, you know, I look at how people talk. I look at the you know, especially if you're doing interviews, like you can have a bias, you know, towards somebody, but it's like obviously it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And it feels like whenever I check in on the Breakfast Club now, like it's like I said, you can have a bias, but it's how you do it. And now it's like they don't care if they talk to you and they not interested in you being there. You know what I'm saying? And they don't care, you know, if they're literally sitting there spinning something and you telling them right now to their face, like, no, it's like, and so that's kind of reminded me, it really made me feel like I was watching something on Fox where you like see like whoever's there and, you know, talking at the time, and the person is giving the person statistics and explaining their position, and then the person just comes right back with a different question but with the same anger, like, you know what I'm talking about. You like, but I just told you should be getting a little bit less vitriol right now, or at least being like, okay, I understand that. So how did this work? Instead of just coming at me trying to automatically prove me wrong. And so that's what I feel like they've been doing now, man. And it's like when I'm watching it, and then like I said, it was just crazy. I'm trying to remember who was that. It was somebody they was just talking to, and they was getting at him, and like, and you could tell they really was. No. It was somebody. It wasn't just him. It was even somebody else, and I was like, why did you even have that person on if you just want to talk bad about him? Because like even with the Tekashi thing, like you can say that's even a ageism thing. Like they saying, yo, we older, we don't understand you. Even though the dude was still disrespecting, but Tekashi still he gave it back to him. So it wasn't like he was like how they was with Monique. Like Monique, even if you don't agree with her position, you still shouldn't be coming at her like that. You know what I'm saying?
That was another one of your tweets. Get into that.
You know, so it was. Oh, well, my thing with the Monique thing. But anyway, real quick, just to cut that out. But right. So yeah, so with the way that I thought that the Breakfast Club was acting, I was like, yeah, they acting like the Fox News. And like I said, somebody had said, no, they can't be Fox, they can be something else. But the reason I hit them with Fox is because they got the most power right now.
They do.
You know?
They do.
So that's why I hit them with Fox, and then I went down the list with, you know, Lab being this and so-and-so being that. And saying it. Like
the rest of them I understand.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because like Lord Jamar would be the Angela Rye of Vlad TV. You know what I'm saying?
Much.
Lord Jamar, you know I love you. I'm gonna see y'all when I come home. I want to get on that Godcast with you and Digga. And obviously, he knows that's no respect. That's my OG. I love that man. He was on odds with me, as a matter of fact. So
yeah, he was.
You know, but yeah, with Monique, my Monique thing. Like I said, I like to think about things because you get distracted when you come to the details. First, you gotta have the whole loaf together before you bake it and cut it up. You know what I'm saying? Get all the ingredients and all that. Get it all together. So with the Monique thing, for me, it's like people just jump way ahead to saying like, oh, you ain't relevant, you don't deserve this, you don't not even get on. Well, people don't even know what the word relevant mean anymore. But they telling her like she don't deserve this, what has she done lately, da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, but ain't the bigger picture like if the sister's pointing out a problem, ain't we supposed to just, you know, get behind her because the problem does exist? Why are y'all telling her she's not this and she's not that? Like Colin Kaepernick, the same way we got behind Colin for his cause. Now we want to take him to the side and ask him to explain the cause. That's fine. Do that over there. But we got behind him in Front Street. We should get behind her on Front Street too. You know what I'm saying? And then we can get into it with each other as long as we know that we're coming at each other with love and understanding. But ain't nobody supposed to be telling Monique she not relevant. By the way they talk about relevancy now, like I said, they'll say Obama's not relevant because he's not around every day and talking every day and the president anymore. What do you mean?
If you're going by those standards.
Yeah, what are you talking about? And by your standards, Isaac Newton is not relevant, even though he, you know, wrote down the laws of physics, but he ain't around no, he ain't popping, he ain't making laws up no more, he not doing physics anymore. Like, so they'll just tell you that, like, no, you bugging. And I don't know, man, but like I said, like with Monique, you know, I just felt like everybody was talking about, and then like I said, once we get the loaf on the table, like I'm saying, like get behind her just because of the cause, get behind her because of that. Now we want to get into the details. All right, we're gonna talk about that $500,000. $500,000 after taxes, right? After taxes, after whatever commissions else she gotta pay. You know, we ain't count her husband, but we gonna count whatever else she gotta pay, right? And so let's say that leave you $250,000 at the end of the day. But she can't work for 2 years. She can't do none of the jokes that she sells to Netflix for 2 years. So you take that $250,000, you separate that into two. So now you telling me Monique is supposed to make $125,000 a year for the next 2 years for what? Dentists make that much, yo. You know what I'm saying? And so you telling me Monique only worth $250,000. Now, even if it would have been respect money, when dudes come to me and they say, yo, could you get in my video for me? If they ain't got the bread, you know what I'm saying? And they offer me respect money. Like, you know, like they be like, yo, all I got this, but I did the best I could on it for you. If I like what it is, the project, I'm gonna go do it. But if somebody coming in, I don't care if they hot. I've had famous rappers say like, yo, I want you to come do my video, but they don't want to give me no money. And I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna even ask you how much to give me. But I listen to your music. You know what I'm saying? You tell me every day you spend $500,000 on whatever it is, and you can't break me off something.
It's a respect level.
Yeah, so just come with that respect. That's all.
Yeah, they disrespected her with that amount. I thought, you know, even if you're not gonna give her You know, the $500,000, it should be at least 2.5 mil.
Yeah,
because of
like,
the work she's put in.
Come on,
you know what I
and,
mean, in the
and
past.
she got to sit down for 2 years.
Exactly.
You know, and then people talking about, oh, but what has she done? I'm like, for real?
She done a whole lot.
Y'all forgot. All right, so we forgot the Parkers, right? All right, we forgot she had her own TV show. We forgot. I'm about to say, now y'all gonna forget Queens of Comedy, how big Queens of Comedy was, and then somebody hit me with like, oh, can you name a Monique joke? Yeah, relax your muscles, all your muscles, and all them skinny bitch jokes. Yeah, I know Monique. Y'all wanna act like y'all don't remember Monique? Stop playing.
Right.
Stop playing.
Right.
She was a beast, and I promise you, she's still funny nowadays. And the way she talk, and I mean, like I said, we gonna get the big thing on the table. We ain't gonna get down to the details because people could talk about how her husband talk and how, you know, they relate to each other or whatever. Y'all gotta understand, like that's she grown. You know what I'm saying? Her man gotta understand it. Y'all better leave that alone. That's an understanding. You wanna call it pimping, you wanna call it whatever, but they gotta understand it, and that's a team. You know what I'm saying? They gonna work together.
Whole team.
Yo, they gonna work together.
Right.
That's it. I mean, but Monique, y'all gonna tell me like Monique ain't worth that, man? Get out of here, bro. I don't want to hear that. And like I said, I just think that we, as a people, the same way we got behind Colin, who asked us to do something without even know we didn't even know the whole plan.
Yeah.
We just was like, yo, bro, they attack you, they attacking you, we gonna back you up. You know what I'm saying? Or you got a good idea, and if they want to act like they don't see what you trying to say, then forget them. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we came at it. And the same way with her. If you don't want, if we ain't trying to understand what Netflix is disrespecting a queen of comedy, and we just gonna be like, oh well, who is she? What is she?
Yeah.
Come on, man. How's that double standard work, bro? How does that work?
That's a very specific mentality. You caught a little bit of flack though with your commentary about Colin as well. And
But that was because people misread what
I know, because when I saw it, I'm like, I know Jay, I know exactly what you're saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was looking at the way people took it online, and I was like, okay, this is one of those things where you can't understand tone through.
Oh yeah, through no.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I was going on, and you know, once you get on the roll, you could be, but you write enough tweets, eventually you're gonna misword something.
Right.
You know, especially like he said, it's hard for people to keep the context going. So
like, they don't know your personality. So like,
yeah.
I think it was the fro comment.
Yeah, that was the one that got people.
Most people, yeah,
that threw people way off.
And they're like, yo, what is he talking? I'm like, like you gotta read it the way he would say it.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying?
so but what happened was with that was I was like I'm paraphrasing the tweet, but the tweet was something like I said the owners is saying that Colin is okay, curse on here. Yeah, I remember I said the owners is saying that Colin is messing up our money with that big ass fro.
Right.
The owners are saying he's messing us up with that big ass fro. I wasn't saying he's messing everybody up with his big ass fro. Like I didn't like the fro. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I was saying they was like, yo, you coming through here with your funny looking face and your big ass fro. You know, that's how they looking at you. But people read it like I was saying, oh, he need to cut his hair, da 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 da. Now if you ask me, do I think he should cut his hair? If he's trying to get back in with that group, yeah, he should cut his hair because you're trying to work with people that want you to cut your hair. If you don't want to work with them, don't cut your hair. That's it. And that's another thing. And really, I think people was waiting on a tweet like that to come through because I started off that whole conversation saying, you know, I hope that the fact that Colin Kaepernick sacrificed his career for this, I hope that everybody appreciates it and I hope that something comes out of it. And then people was like, what you mean he sacrificed his career? He did. I'm like, you don't think he did? He totally did. He totally did. So people thought I was saying like I said, people had their own definition of words. I guess they thought I meant when I said sacrifice that he threw it away and, you know, for nothing.
Right.
You know, whatever. You know, like how the people don't pay attention to their own words. So, but yeah, my man definitely, you know, martyred himself for a cause, you know, and then the cause got muddled and messed up and everything. So, I mean, I don't know. And I mean, I don't think he's gonna make it back into the NFL. I don't see how. I don't see how he could be back in there.
I thought he was back. Nah.
Luckily, he got some other things.
It's funny thing. They signed RG3 before they signed him. The Ravens.
Yeah, RG3
went down
1 year deal.
Nah,
man.
He did visit, but you know,
nah. And then he put out that videotape, and they don't like the way he throwing the ball and the tape. And, I mean, but I don't see how a owner is going to put himself in that position. What smart owner would put themselves in that position?
But really and truly, he's better than that. Than 75% of the quarterbacks in the league.
And they ain't got shit.
I know they ain't got nothing to do with it, but that's, you know what I mean, that's reality.
I'm with you. Hey, bro.
They can't market him.
Yeah, that's what I'm
he's not
saying. Like,
he's not
it's like
marketable.
he damaged goods. He damaged himself up, man. And then, like you said, you don't know what he gonna say, tweet. You know, his girlfriend gonna tweet or whatever's gonna happen. You don't know what's gonna happen. So it's not. Even though he's got that top 25% out, he ain't worth it. To them.
And you know
His
what?
former teammate, Eric Reed, who kneeled with him, he can't get signed for some reason. And he said he ain't gonna kneel no more. And he can't get signed.
Well, like you know how that is with.
And
Bro,
I
man.
think like the commonality between Colin and Monique, just while we were on the subject, it was the public talking about business dealings that did it in both of those instances. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a choice. Like if you're passionate about something,
Right.
and you want to speak on it. But you got to be aware of what comes with that.
Yeah,
And
I
we're
mean,
talking about business
like
dealings.
Colin, people like, oh, let him. He ain't do this. He ain't break no rules. He ain't do that. They like Colin ain't do nothing, right? He ain't break no rules, right? So, but if you at your job, that's a job,
Exactly.
and your boss walk past your desk every day and keep telling you to take that picture off your desk, or whatever it is, you can't. You can say no, but what you think gonna happen? And then what? Everybody gonna come in and just saying, "Lo, you should let them have their job because they should have whatever picture they want on their desk." Like, and so that's like I said, that's the big picture of it. We trying to tell somebody who hired somebody to do a job how to let the person do the job, how to let them do the job, which that ain't gonna fly in the first place. So let's get that right out the way. Like, we can't make somebody change their policies. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. Number two is how Colin did it. We like, all right, we understand why. But then we got to bring it to ourselves. I'm like this. Like I said I'm not going to talk about Colin Kaepernick without talking about solutions also. You know what I'm saying? Like I can talk about what went wrong, but what can we do to make it right? You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, he tried. They did the little quick try, real quick with the kneeling and all that. Because I'm like, okay, do the kneeling. Because football players kneel all the time, yo, like constantly. Like, why is that a problem? What's the problem? And it still showed respect, it showed reverence, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, cool. But they ain't like the kneeling. Cool. Then he come out and say like, whatever he said about the flag, I'm not gonna stand for a flag, da-da-da-da-da-da, right? Cool.
Right.
But then they like, oh, well, you making it about the military and you making it about whatever else, the flag, the America. And he's like, look, so for him to clear that up, all he had to say was, it's not about, this is what it's about. But he never, ever came out and said, this is what this is about. This is what like, and my thing was like this. He could have said, he said he was going to kneel until police stop shooting black men. Bruh! Bro!
You never gonna get up.
You ain't never getting up. You're never getting up off the ground. Now,
No.
if he had flipped it to where he said, I'm just going to kneel every week that a black man gets shot by a cop, that makes more sense because now people are saying, oh, he said he's specifically kneeling for the, oh, he's kneeling this week? Oh, damn, my brother got shot again? Oh, he kneeling this week too? Oh, somebody got shot again? Not he's kneeling until something happens that nobody's working on. You know, and what are we going to do with that as black Americans? We don't got the power or the organization to make that happen in his lifetime. So that's why you got to be more concise, and especially if you're going to be a leader, you got to be with it. Like I said, if he would have been like, I'm just going to kneel because I feel bad, I'm going to kneel on weeks that a black man is unjustly shot. The system would have had to work their way all the way around that to make him stop doing that. Because it wasn't a form of protest, if you say it that way. It's then a form of expression that way. But when you're saying, I'm not kneeling for that flag until the sun comes down, that's a protest. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, man, and like I said, either we, and this is something that we can unpack here. I'm unpacking with y'all. If I was talking to somebody else on the street, you know, without it being like, whatever, I'm gonna tell them, you know, all I got to say is like, I support the brother. You know, I hope he gets back in the NFL, and I do agree that I wish that brothers wouldn't get shot at the rate that we get shot at.
Facts.
You know, but we gotta get that under control. You know what I'm saying?
It was feeling for him anyway because, you know, during training camp that year, he came in the training camp with socks with pigs. With the,
oh yeah. I mean, but he was already mad though.
You
Yeah,
know, he was already mad.
Yeah,
so,
he was mad.
Right.
And look, I tell people, I'll be like, yo, I could feel him because when he first started doing it, and it was kind of confusing me, but I was feeling him because I was like, this is how I felt. And this is me using my actor thing to put yourself in somebody's shoes. I was like, yo, this is what, right after Philando Castile, all this really, he started getting, he got real mad after that one, you know? So I would see him waking up that morning, looking up Sunday morning and saying, yo, I'm about to go in this field. This man just got shot up like that. And I just watched it. Imagine going and playing a game after you watch that, right? And you feel it. And he didn't grow up in no hood or nothing like that. But like I said, he saw enough up until that where he like, yo, I'm going there. 20 million people are going to watch me today. And I just feel like I gotta say something. I don't know what I want to say, but I gotta say something. And then when you standing there and the anthem come on and everybody's feeling like acting all together and everything, he was like, you know what? I'm sitting down. Like I don't even feel like standing up today. And that was how I can see him getting to that point without it being a thought out process. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I feel him. Some days you just like, yo, all these people looking at me today. I could just say this one thing real quick right now. And you know those people like, you know the Speaker of the House be up on there. Yeah. Like, if I just say, he's a clone, you mess up the whole world. You know what I'm saying? You will destroy the world. Like, people will be like, yo, the Speaker of the House just said the president's a clone. Like, yo. So, you know, like I said, like he just approached it and he got into it. And then, like I said, he didn't reinforce it enough to keep it, you know, clear. Right. And then that's why Homeboy went in and got the 89 million from the NFL to calm everybody down. And, you know, like, it's crazy, man. It
became very muddled, man.
You know, like I said, I do think we should support each other. It's just a matter of we should support each other, for real. We can talk about all of the other stuff in the back room, but out in front, especially when it's got a good purpose, we should support each other, period, man. Gosh. Period.
Indeed. All right, well, it's been real.
You know y'all kicking me out. It's time to go.
Well, I mean, we're good. But,
we're good, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We definitely, you know, had a great conversation, man. And I think that what you just said is really our closing sentiment. You know what I'm saying? Is let's support each other. Let's spread the love. Let's show the love. And let's not jump down each other's throats when somebody wants to stand up, especially in the Monique situation. It's like Colin was doing it for, you know what I mean? But Monique was doing this for our family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought that you brought a lot of great points up. So
well, thank you, man. And one thing I do got to say about Atlanta, Atlanta has more of that type of atmosphere than anywhere else I've lived, especially when it comes to Black people. Like, very progressive. I see, you know, I never seen so many Black business owners in one place, you know, and I think that's a great thing. And it's funny because, you know, 3 years ago when I first started coming down here, you know, back then, especially, you know, 3 to 5 years ago, you know, you know what everybody say about Atlanta outside of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this, it's that, you know, and I got here and I'm like, this ain't, the village is worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, the village is worse than you know. I'm coming down here thinking I'm gonna see men in high heels, you know, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But the village is way more out with it than anything. And not just that, but it's just like I said, like the perception that they put on you. And I think that's part of the thing to keep brothers from coming down here, you know, and getting this, man. Because like I said, when I came down here, all the things that I was, you know, expecting, like, bro, I got a bunch of stuff that I was not expecting at all. I didn't see none of the stuff I was expecting, and got a bunch of stuff that I was not expecting at all, which is right. So I give all of the brothers and sisters down here in Atlanta, you know, all the respect in the world, because like I said, you know, it got to be, especially having, you know, the history that Atlanta has. Right. But it's just a beautiful thing to see so many, you know, Black people down here doing it on this level, and it's normal. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's not like, it's just normal, man. It's just a beautiful feeling. I like it. It is. That's one thing I always tell people, man. So shout out to the city of Atlanta, and you know, it's all love, man. We really appreciate the city. Nah, thanks. Have me back, man. You know I'm around. Next time we talk about some sports or something. Yeah, man. Eddie Williams. Thank you. Appreciate it. What's up?
Art Life Radio.
You got it.
Signing off.
This is Art Life Radio with Stephen Christopher, and this is your boy JD Williams. Keep listening.